prince is ready. Let's.
The prince was up at a reasonable time this morning.
Yeah, my alarms didn't go off. I went to bed really late last night, and I made a point to set 3 alarms, 15 minutes apart from each other. I set 3 of them. All made sure they were all AM. Made sure I clicked every single day available. And here we are, where I woke up at a noonish hour.
Yeah.
A pre-noonish hour, and to a message an hour earlier, not that much earlier, saying,
Yeah.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, because I slept in today.
So our new rule is, because you're on a more human schedule these days.
Yeah, so I'll just give you
Call me, don't message me.
Give you a little ring-a-ma-ding.
Because ring-a-ma-dingity-doo.
Ring-a-ma-ding. Yeah, man, it's been a long week.
Your week has been a display of acrobatics that I'd love to talk about, but I don't think you're there yet.
No, we are not there yet.
Your workplace environment has changed drastically.
Improved drastically.
Improved. Well, I feel like that's taking a shot.
It's not.
It should be. I feel like you should be shooting on.
Maybe that time will come, but for the time being, it has improved, and we'll see. Anything's possible in the future.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
In your work environment, you've installed a television.
I did. Well, here's the thing.
And you were so proud. Like, I got the picture from you, and I was like, "Ooh, look at Ben."
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I just wanted to let you know things are happening.
Look at Ben making sure that he's never going to get his deposit back.
Please. I put a plate here. I'm not even going to have to change anything out at the bottom, and at the top I've got 4 anchor holes and a hole just big enough for the head of a TV plug to go through. That's patchable. I've patched. I've done. I'm a drywall guy. Okay.
Oh shit! Ben's a drywall guy.
I've done drywall. I did drywall on and off for a year. Not as as one of many things I did for that year, but so I'm not worried about my deposit on this apartment. I may end up staying here anyways when the roommate goes. We'll have to see how that works out.
That decision. That you guys are good till next year, right?
No, we're here till
we just re-upped our lease. That's a thing that happened this week.
Oh, that's good. That's probably a wise move. I don't know. I think we have. We did this thing because we moved originally when we got this place. It was in the summertime months.
Yeah.
Like maybe August or September. And after the first year, I said to him, dude, every time we renew it, there's an option to add a year. I mean, not a year, a month.
Yeah.
So you can go 13 months. And we've been here long enough that after we decided to do this, we've now shifted it down 3 more months. So we're theoretically in a month more hospitable to moving in terms of weather in South Florida.
Yeah.
Even November, it's hot as balls for most of the month. So you really want to be moving, where you're hauling heavy things outside in the December, January, February months.
Yeah.
Those are really the only months. And even then, you'll fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That weekend, it'll be like a hot month.
It's a coin flip. It was been hot as shit all week, but for some reason on Tuesday morning, I woke up, it was 58 degrees outside.
The last not to give the weather report, because I don't know anyone gives a shit about
it's partly
this.
crowded with a chance of rain.
But the last couple of nights,
Florida weather report.
The last couple of nights, it's been hot during the day and cool at night. So
yeah.
So I love fucking with my roommate because he's more apt to shut the windows and turn on the air conditioning than I am. So at night I'll leave it open at 6 because it's in the 60s, and I know that in the morning it'll get to 80 something. And
yeah, no shit,
and
right?
that'll wake you up. I'll wake up because I'm uncomfortable in bed.
Yeah.
Because there's no, it's not cool enough. Anyway, so what do you got for me today?
Oh man.
What do you got?
So I've been working so much this week that other than our standard nerd talk segments, I have one thing that really kind of shocked me because I've reinstalled Facebook as a trial period, and I
We knew you'd be back. We knew you'd come.
There was an outcry, and we could talk about it on the Nerd Talk stuff, but I think this is something that deserves a little bit more, because Nerd Talk, WandaVision finished up, so we got a lot on that plate, and there's a lot to open up about that episode. So there's been a crazy outcry. We had the Mr. Potato Head thing, which is just ridiculous for so many other reasons. But the thing that just I can't. This is how I wrote the title, and you'll understand immediately. Lola Bunny is no longer fuckable, and I don't know what to do with my hands. So
I understand what you're talking about. I think it's fucking retarded.
It's so retarded, right? It's so dumb. So for everyone who doesn't know,
they desexualized a cartoon character
in Space Jam, the original 1996 Space Jam with Michael Jordan,
which I've never seen.
You've never seen Space Jam?
Unapologetically, don't give a fuck.
You've never seen Space Jam?
I'll tick it off for 3 reasons. Okay, what year did it come out?
96.
96. Okay, so you know how old I was in 96? 24 fucking years old. You think I'm interested in Bugs Bunny cartoons at 24 years old?
You might be.
I was interested in pussy and fucking still comic books, but you know, I was like, so I didn't give a shit. 2, I always thought Michael was a total piece of shit.
That's true.
Never was a fan of Michael Jordan. He's a piece of shit as a human being. No interest.
Yeah,
you know,
you've always had a hard line on that.
So I wasn't into basketball. I was always a football guy, and I'm not gonna go watch an hour and a half long fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon.
But R. Kelly believed he could fly.
It doesn't. Yeah,
That didn't age well.
I thought you said bleeped instead of believed.
Oh.
So
that's probably a version of that song too.
I never saw it. I understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That I guess they made this fucking the girl version of Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Like sexy or something.
Well, it's funny because
and then the director of the new one, I read the article.
Yeah.
The director of the new one's like, she's over sexualized. I'm going to tone it down because that's not what the movie's about anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, and anyone that's like gets a boner from a cartoon needs therapy anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And why should, I mean, like if I was a director, I'd be the same way. I'd be like, why should I contribute to someone else's fucked up, like, you know, Greg, listen.
Someone's fucking furry fantasy.
You know what? Jerk off to whatever you want. God bless you. But I mean, a thing that's supposed to be like a pure kids thing.
Yeah.
No.
It's
like, I go on the porn sites.
Yeah.
And I see that they have like
that weird cartoon shit from time to time.
They'll have like the weird Simpsons and Family Guy porn and stuff, and it's like animated.
It's very unsettling, by the way.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's very unsettling.
So I'm like, so anyone that's upset that like this fucking
you can't fuck a cartoon bunny.
You couldn't before.
But here's the funniest thing about all this is they've got this picture that makes all the rounds.
You think they like get one of those fur-lined gloves and jerk off with it?
I hope
rabbit
so.
Fur.
I hope so. They're not living to their full potential if they're not. You know. The funny thing is though, the picture that rotates around with the new one and the old Lola is that old Lola Bunny picture that they've attached to the new Lola Bunny. It's not even from Space Jam. It's fan art. Like they act, and it's overly sexualized because Lola Bunny in the '96 Space Jam movie, yes, she's sexualized. But it's not to the degree that the picture making rounds is. The picture making rounds is pure fucking weird furry fat material.
The undercover people on the internet should just like go find the guy that drew that.
Yeah. Credit him, man.
No. No, you're missing my point. Go find the guy that did that and look into him and see if he's worth arresting. And then go look at everyone that follows him and his art and his ordered art.
Just work backwards.
Yeah. You might be able to like really backdoor your way into like some NAMBLA thing or something, and find all those fucked up, all those weird. What are they called? The guys out sex tourism, is that what it's called? Where you fly to country to fuck.
Oh,
but you go because you know that country will let you fuck underage girls or let you. I knew a guy. Oh, good story. I knew a guy. I won't say his name, but if you know South Florida environment back in like the 80s, he used to run Star Trek conventions. Now, I know you haven't even blinked at the tide of guys that run Star Trek conventions and fucking young girls.
No.
You will continue not to blink because this is not surprising.
Yeah.
But he was like I don't know that he waved it in people's faces too much, but I think it was like a bit more of a shield back then to have been like a war veteran kind of guy, like a Vietnam guy or something like that, as like a shield of like, oh, you respect these guys. Yeah. But I always felt like that was like, as flimsy of a barrier as it was almost like maybe a paper shield, but it was something to kind of like, oh, lay off him, he fucking blah blah blah. But he apparently was one of those guys that would fly down to like South America 3 or 4 times a year, and allegedly, quote unquote, and from what I've heard and all this kind of thing, I know that he I think he had a ongoing relationship with a very young girl. That it was all like approved by the family, and he would stay with the family.
Of course it was.
And I mean, because
American money is green.
Well, yeah. I mean, I understand their side of it too, is that they are starving to death.
Yeah.
They have no money and blah blah blah, and this is going to feed the family. But it doesn't,
sacrifices have to be made.
It doesn't. I understand their thinking of it. It doesn't make it any more right.
Doesn't justify it.
Doesn't justify it or anything like that. But that's the culture. It's in some of those Asian cultures too, where they, as soon as the girl's old enough to go earn, they go earn. But as shitty as that is, this was the situation, and I think it got around that he was doing that. But I don't know. This is all word of mouth stuff, but it reminded me of that. Now, to further that, is that like his buddy, who was like kind of like a little bit of his like underling lackey, learned at the feet of him. They both would quiz each other on Star Trek facts, that kind of shit. This guy also got accused of like, quote, grooming girls here locally. He was not a world traveler for, I personally, if you're more than 5, anytime I've even looked on an online like dating app or something, I just look for the smallest radius possible for my search within 5 miles. I'm like, if it's further than that, I'm not traveling for ass. There's no fucking way. Like a 10-minute drive is out of the question for me. They better be coming to my house all the fucking time. There's no way I'm flying to South America or the fucking Philippines for a little poontang. I'd rather just jerk off. So it's
cheaper. It's cheaper.
Fur-lined glove.
You just oh shit.
That works like.
Speaking of
that works well until you accidentally.
Speaking of sexual deviance, you left off last podcast telling how you were going to tell the story about how.
Do you want to jump into that right now?
I mean, it's a natural segue, unless of course you've got something pressing.
I was debating which story to tell. If I was going to tell the one,
I think you promised our listeners both.
No, not in one podcast.
Oh, okay. We got to stretch this shit out. 10-4.
Well, it's too much of a good thing.
We're going to make your asses pay.
So I guess speaking of like online dating apps and stuff,
which I've never been on. I've never been on a single online dating app.
I haven't been on one in years, like long time. Like I'll go out of curiosity, like once every fucking year and a half, I'll go on one where it's not like where at least they have a free feature, not where you have to pay to even look. Yeah, that's and I'll just look at I'll just out of curiosity look at what's going on. And as soon as I see someone with using the same pictures that I recognize from when I looked at them 10 years ago, I'm like, all right, I'm done here. This is fucking stupidity. Yeah. Although more and more people use them instead of like meeting people in the real world and having an actual conversation and
God forbid, right?
Yeah, like pick up a girl at a bar or whatever. The things we used to do. Or things that some of us still do.
To be perfectly fair to some of those, there's no real bars to pick girls up at anymore.
Well,
or boys.
That's not true. They're back. They're reopening. But okay.
Some states a little faster than others.
Well, and like or I used to do well through workplace environments because you get familiar with someone.
Yeah.
For a while before something happens.
Yeah.
But so anyway. I got like this email, like this random email on Yahoo, and I guess like I mean, like I'm really dating myself, but I was around for like the like birth of all this stuff, back when like eBay was a new thing and I was earning my money.
I was a kid, but I remember all this.
Yeah. But all the dating apps like Match.com and Yahoo, I guess had personals at one time. A lot of them had like
groups,
personal boards.
Yeah,
it wasn't a group thing, but it was like personal. It was the same thing. You just I don't think I ever placed like something like put a profile. Like I know that you have to like to most of these, if you want to go browsing,
you have to, like, submit.
You have to like put some basic information in about yourself. Real basic. Like I don't even think a photo or anything. And I got like a message from someone one day, and I'm like thinking like, this is through Yahoo. This is weird. Like I didn't even like place a, that one's like really like vague and stuff. Or maybe back in that day it was more like chat boards and things like that. I don't know. I don't know how this part was like weird because I didn't understand how she was messaging me.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Tiny Titties 22 ASL
through this. Through this. But this lady started messaging me and talking to me and like as if it was like a personal site. And I'm like, it was weird at first, but I'm like, whatever. I got over that real fast because it was a girl messaging me. So, and she's like, well, and she was called herself CJ. And don't worry, I'm not giving away someone's identity.
No.
Although I don't care, I will. And she's like, and we're like kind of talking for a couple things. She's like, you want to hang out sometime? I'm like, okay. And so I had to go down to Lincoln Road to meet her. And I don't even remember, because this is how long ago it was, if she sent me a picture or not. But I assume she must have. But I don't think she did. I think this was completely blind, which is usually like a huge, terrible.
Yeah, because then you have no idea what you're walking into.
Terrible mistake. And so I go Lincoln Road, and if you've ever been to Lincoln Road, it's very flashy and flamboyant. There are guys, I'm sure it's the same guys, just older now, roller skating around in their shiny, tight rainbow pants.
They're very fashionable, Ben.
I mean, like the silvery but rainbow colored pants, nothing else. Cock and balls, all tightly
you gotta see
outlined and on display.
Yeah.
And I had this problem for a little while because not that I had like my junk out, but that when I would go in Fort Lauderdale at the beach, there's a gay section.
Yeah.
There's like, and it's like just as it's
is
like,
your problem going to the gay section?
There's
Ben?
no designated there's no like sign gays here only. It wasn't like a segregated thing.
Yeah.
It was just where the gays congregated, and so that could shift or move, but it was generally in this one area. And so we used to rollerblade back in the down at the beach just for exercise and whatever.
It's false advertisement, Ben, when you're doing that, showing your cock and balls out to these gay
I didn't,
men.
but I had I was just in my shorts.
Oh, that's.
And so we'd be rollerblading down there.
You had those legs in display.
I was like young, lean, tan, hairy-chested Ben going down, long hair, going down the road, and
every gay man's fantasy.
And when we would hit that area, my friend Chris would slow down a little bit so that I was ahead of him.
Yeah.
So he could get the good view of the guys checking me out. And nudging each other, and it would crack him up. So it'd be a lot. So Lincoln Road's a little crazy like that, and or was. I haven't been in years. But it's
but when we do go,
but it's like shopping and and like food, outside food, and I think isn't that street closed off? Isn't it one of those ones that's like, it
might be now.
Like maybe it isn't.
It might be now.
Maybe I'm thinking.
Maybe it wasn't back then, but it might be now.
But I don't know. I was starting to picture more like the promenade in Santa Monica, but I don't think it is. So I go and I meet this chick, and she's like pretty good looking, and she's like this blonde lady, nice big tits and kind of a solid frame,
checking all the boxes off.
Like she's got plenty of time to do her thigh master, leg exercises, squats, and whatever. Yeah. So we talk and we hit it off and whatever. And I think we went and did some other things that day, and I think that was it. And at that lunch, I realized that I called her CJ once, and she goes, "Oh no, that's not my name. I just put that on the thing, so in case, crazies or whatever they don't know what." It was CJ was for Crazy Julie, so her name was Julie, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, like whatever,
whatever your story is, lady.
So I think I don't remember if she told me when we were sitting down or whatever, or if it was like on the phone or on the email, but at some point it was revealed she was married. and she's like, so I'm not really, here's where I felt like I got catfished. I'm like, and again, this wasn't a term that was even around back then, but she's like, I'm just looking for a friend. I'm a little, I just, I don't know if she was bored or lonely or whatever. I'm like, all right, yeah. And at this point, I was like, it was pretty cool. And here's the other thing. She was a little older than me. I guess she was like, if I was in my 20s, she was in her 30s. Yeah. And she had, listen, she had fucking money. She offered to buy lunch. She was like buying drinks.
Sugar mama.
Yeah, I was like, and again, I'm real naive at this point.
Yeah.
Like I'm like fucking, I've had one real serious girlfriend and since this and I mean before this and whatever. So it's all kind of new territory. And this online thing is new. And so she's like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, yeah, you're cool. I mean, I'll keep talking to you. I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
So she's like, you wanna come, like it's another time. She's like, you wanna come down? We'll hang out for the day. Like it was the meet my husband phase. So we were all gonna hang out together. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Again, I'm like thinking like they're cool, they're rich, they're offering to let's go hang for the day, we'll buy you lunch and blah, blah, blah. So I go to her house. As for now, I go to her house, and it's this big fucking house in Coral Gables. It's like a multi-million-dollar house. And apparently her husband does like some kind of like construction development stuff. Yeah. He was involved with as a partner, as a contractor. I don't know what he did, but he was involved with those all that riverfront stuff.
Okay.
In Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Like the big malls thing that's dead now, but I mean they built it, so fuck it. He may be the guy that leases it. I don't know but they had money. So I come over there and she's like starting to get like flirty and physical with me, and like at one point she's sitting on the counter in the kitchen and she grabs her legs around me and pulls me forward. I'm like, what the fuck's like, I don't understand what's going on. Because I don't understand about these things. Yeah. I don't understand about...
especially back then. It's like, it wasn't...
But there was no internet like there is now. There were no shows about swinging couples and shit like that.
Yeah, because you think,
open relationships.
You think about it now, most people listening to this is like, well, it should be obvious. And yeah, now it would be obvious. But back then, there was nothing about this
So
stuff.
she's like, yeah, he wants just like, make sure you're a good guy and blah blah blah. And I'm like, whatever. I mean, like, and
you're just thinking like, okay,
like
so
if I'm friends with her, I guess her husband should be cool about it. Whatever. It's it's just one of those. It's just one of these weird, unfolding things that slightly gets weirder and weirder, and you're just not. You're like, oh, that's weird, but it's not like a jump of weird.
Yeah.
It's these micro doses of weird where you don't realize at some point. You're totally fucked up.
Yeah.
So she's like, he comes home. He's a cool dude. I'm not gonna give his name because then you can. Yeah. You probably could figure it out as it is, but he's like just a normal dude, tall dude. And he's like, and then like he's there, and then like before we're gonna head out together, he's like every time he leaves the room, she starts like making out with me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, she's doing it where, like, she's being, like, fucking, like, she's, being sneaky. It's not like, it doesn't seem like an open thing anyways.
You're waiting for him to come around the corner.
And she's expressed this as a friendship thing and whatever. She hasn't, She hasn't said like, "Listen, I'm married, but I like to fuck."
Yeah.
Or like, "My husband likes to watch me fuck," or any of that fucking stuff.
And
you
these
know?
two are probably getting off on you, going like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, like they're seducing me into something. There you go. I didn't even think about that. All these years later, I didn't even think about that side of the kink.
Like
wow.
he might walk around and just look at the TV of her doing that, like, "That's right, that's right."
Yeah.
Get in that young Ben's face. Yeah. And it's weird because it's like that could totally be on the table, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so we go have lunch at like somewhere nice Miami,
Yeah.
outdoors, where you're like one of those like.
This is a great relationship so far you've
I'm
described.
loving it because like everything's on them,
Yeah.
and I'm like, fuck it, you know. But again, it's like looking back, it's so
Yeah.
funny. Would I do this again? Hell yeah. But now I'd have to be the older guy watching my
Yeah.
life fuck someone and paying for it. So we're going and we go have lunch and we're drinking and we're hanging out and we're walking down. I guess it was in the Grove all day, and she's doing weird things like where she puts her hand on my back, and goes, "Oh man, I didn't realize you had so many muscles back there." That kind of shit, that kind of like complimentary, flirty, touchy stuff, and
that's particularly weird.
and saying it. Well, I
know.
when I was in shape.
Yeah.
It's not that weird. Don't make it like I never had a muscle.
well, no, it's not that. It's just like, I mean, I've been in great shape, and I don't think I've ever had anyone go, "Man, those back muscles."
Oh,
Yeah.
no one's touched your back.
That lower back.
I will be honest with you. Every time I give Drew a hug, I feel his back.
It's hard not to.
And that's some fucking that's like hugging a fucking statue.
It really is.
It's like you're like, this man is so like fucking.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the word. It's so hard and dense.
It's all right.
But he's like, he's cut out of something, and something that could.
The best material on earth.
Right, granite, whatever. But he's a diamond. But I think
Diamond Drew.
But I think that
like
she's
that.
also saying it like out loud for him to hear.
Yeah.
Now that you're giving me that.
Yeah. Usually, like you hear that now, and you're just like, "Huh, some of these pieces fit together a little bit better."
Yeah. And so, I mean, because it's all comical now. You're like, what the fuck?
Because if I was rich, and me and the wife is like, "Look, let's go fuck with some young kid, and let's see how much he squirms, and I'll fuck him." And you're like.
You're so open to that.
Yeah,
You're like,
and then like the husband's like, you know what? I'm down to see that shit. Let's see you work. Like I could just see that where and you're just sitting there. You're just like, well, these are really nice people. They're really kind. and
I was so naive.
And I can
back
totally put myself in your shoes.
I was so naive.
Because one time, I guess I have to tell the Bobby Rogers story.
Go ahead.
Well, no.
Oh.
Yeah, as my friends put it. As my friends put it, the year Marco unintentionally dated a man.
I think that might be.
And maybe we have to bring AJ on to fill in some of those holes and gaps.
Well, we should have you tell it.
Yeah.
Have AJ fill in the gaps, and then we'll have Bobby Rogers on to tell his side of it. To see if he was grooming you for a year for a good bugger.
I think we both know he was.
Well, I plan to have him on.
Yeah, we can do that.
So we'll have to.
Maybe that's what we'll talk about. So, Bobby, were you trying to fuck me? Yes or no?
He'll go, dummy. Of course I was.
Yeah. You're just so fucking stupid. Like, oh well, that makes sense now. So you're sitting down, you're having a great lunch.
Yeah. And then we go out walking at night, and then we go have dinner. So we haven't even come back yet. We've been out for 2 meals.
Yeah. That you haven't paid for.
Right. And that, I'm
It's
trying
an easy street.
I'm trying to behave myself.
Yeah.
We're not getting drunk or anything like that. So it's like you can't even blame that.
Yeah.
We go back to their place, and we just start watching a James Bond movie, and again,
Octopussy.
it might have, for all I know, it might have been. They may have been that ha ha ha, between each other about it. So we're watching James Bond movie, and every time he leaves the room, she's jumping me. Yeah. And then she's like, then there's one time she's making out with me, and out of the corner of my eye, I see him walk from my left around, because we were sitting on the couch and he was sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And the couch was facing the here's the scenario. We're sitting on the couch, and if you're sitting on the couch facing the TV, the left side, the outside side was me.
Yeah.
And then it was her, and then to the right of her
Yeah.
was the chair, and he was sitting in that, and it was kind of like turned a little bit, like he's in the corner, so it's cornered out, and he's facing. So he has to come when he comes back in. He has to cross in front of us to come back in and sit down. So I see the movement from the corner of my eye on my left as I'm like fucking making out with her, and I jerk back from her. Like I do that reflexive, like jerk back. Like,
maybe, you don't know
maybe he didn't see it.
Yeah.
Like I'm that dumb.
Yeah.
Like I'm that naive. And she fucking she without missing a beat like rolls her eyes towards him and does a hand thing like don't worry about it. And I'm like, what?
Ben's in a throuple. He doesn't even
She's
know.
Like, she's like, pfft. And like I think that was the signal, like, or she gave him the Iggy at some point because there was no like. This was like I think this was beeper time, not like text, like you would send someone a text.
Yeah, that's about beeper time.
So she gave him the Iggy, and he all like within like I don't know 5-10 minutes does like the big. He does the big over exaggerated yawn with the noise. And he goes, I'm getting tired, guys. I think I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
And he like, it's great to meet you, Ben.
Yeah.
Shakes my hand and he goes up. And then she's on top of me.
Yeah.
And we're like rolling around and we're fucking on the couch eventually.
Yeah.
And I just can't deal with it. I'm like, my mind is like, what the fuck is going on? And if you want to like laugh, if you want to really laugh at it, like on top of her.
Which I do.
I'm on top of her on the couch, and all I could think in my head is at any moment, this guy's going to come bouncing down the stairs, butt naked, with a giant boner bouncing as he bounces down the stairs, and he's going to, like, I almost pictured him, like, doing, like, a Jimmy Snuka dive, dick first into my ass while I'm on top of her. I thought that was what I was being set up for. So I kind of, like, while I'm like fucking around with her,
protecting your butt at the same time.
The whole. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I thought the second. Like you ever see the gag where like you're fucking someone and the dog sneaks up behind you, licks your balls or something.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't gonna be the dog.
Yeah.
And I saw like just like for an hour of like whatever we were doing on the couch, all kinds of stuff. I just kept thinking that like the next time. I like as he cut across as like the same like catching him in my peripheral and freaking me out. I thought it was going to happen again, except he was going to be bare ass naked and like
a Gip mask or some shit.
Just something, yeah. I did because I didn't know what was going on, and it was never like at least lay it out. Be like, listen, my wife really likes you. Yeah. We both have a past to fuck each other. We just have to meet the person and approve of them because that's obviously what it was.
Yeah.
But none of it was explained to me. Yeah. So I don't know if they were in this like second tier level of not only are we allowed to fuck other people as long as we've met them and we approve of them, but we're going to get off on roping them in without knowing.
It had to be, man.
I guess it had to be because it doesn't make sense now. So, So, like, for whatever long it was that we were screwing around, that's all I could think about. And I'm like, I'm not the person I was now either, where I'm like, what's going on? What are we doing here? Is this cool? Like,
where you would just been like, listen, I'm totally cool with what's happening here. Let's just lay down.
Well, especially since, like, my penis is now involved.
Yeah.
That I'm not thinking, like,
exactly.
Why open my mouth to, like...
We can do this, but we need to lay down some ground rules.
No, I'm like afraid anything I say about it is going to U-turn this whole situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I got to go home and find my fur-lined glove.
You got to snort out of me for the fur-lined.
So
that's the name of this episode, is the fur-lined glove.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah. So, I'm like, what the fuck, So over the course of like the next month or two, I don't know that it ever got fully explained to me, but it was like, I would hang out with her. It wasn't like every time it was a screw around session either, but like she would come up to Fort Lauderdale and spend the day with me. And I was living with a roommate then too. And I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. Yeah. So, it was like, at one point, I think we went back to my room and like she couldn't really get into it because he was there, you know. And
if her husband's not around, there's no real sexual charge.
So what's funny was there was another time where I went down to see her in, you know, the Grove, and you know, I would drive down. I had my Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
And most of the time I didn't drive after that. I'd come down there and then we'd hop in her. She had a black Jeep, like one of those Wranglers with the open top and everything like that. It was cool. It was, you know, and it wasn't one of the low end ones. It was a high end one. She's like, come with me. We're going to look at this place. And we go, and it's like some place right on the beach. It's like a condo. It's like on the second or third floor. And it's being built out, you know. And it's like, I swear to God, I think it was going to be their like off-site fuck shack.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, well, we're going to move this. We'll both have keys. We'll make sure the other one's not there.
Yeah.
And we'll whatever. So, yeah. And I think the other time I came over and we did something in in her house, we went to a guest room. They have a guest, you know. I mean, hey, listen, anyone with a real house has rooms and that they don't use. But
and I like that they have that rule, like no fucking on our bed.
Right. This is the sacred spot.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, I was never invited to a three-way situation. Thank God, because I would have like probably.
Yeah, that might have been the line right there.
Back then, I would have probably like just started vibrating and passed out. Not in a good way either. In a nervous, like I knew he was gonna fuck me kind of way.
Nowadays, it's like I'm not saying no, but I am saying we need to.
There are 3 rules.
3 rules. Devil's triangle.
No. Listen, I'm a straight guy, so don't get all upset about this. This is not homophobia. No man-to-man skin contact. Yeah. So we have to each stay on our end of the lady.
Yeah.
That's the second one. We each have to keep to our end. And no eye contact.
No eye contact.
Absolutely no eye contact. Like, and by no skin-on-skin contact, I'm including high fives or any other fucking bullshit. Not just the incidental, like God forbid, like our thighs touched each other or something, trying to navigate in the same general area. Like I see that stuff in porn, so I'm like, oh God, no, I could never do that.
Yeah, but most male porn stars have been doing gay porn because that's where the money's at.
Yeah. Well, I'm not denying that. Yeah. I'm just saying I'm not wired for that. I can't. Incidental contact is like it's gonna just. It's gonna tank the game immediately.
Like that wouldn't bother me, but that I've also with wearing tights and wrestling and all that.
Well,
shit.
You're a guy that you and another big sweaty hairy man sometimes will spend 30 minutes grabbing each other and picking each other up and rolling around on the floor.
That doesn't bother me at all.
So I understand you. I cannot do that. I'm wired where I don't even want to like people are like, why didn't you ever get into tattooing? I'm like, because I don't want to touch people that I don't want to touch.
Yeah.
Like dudes, really disgusting people. I don't want to do it. No. Even with fucking latex gloves on, I don't want to touch them. So, so I was like, how do we get sidetracked here? But so if we were ever doing the devil's 3-way, the devil was something called Devil's Triangle, or whatever it is, where it's 2 guys and a girl. It would never be like they would. You have to set the ground rules first,
Yeah, but as a kid, when you're in your early 20s and shit like that starts to happen, you don't know how to react. You're just sitting there like, well, I'm going to go along with this till it gets too weird, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
And then I'm out.
Yeah.
There's a certain line where, like, if he were to come down, fucking dressed in a gimp mask, you're like, all right, this is reset. Now you'd be like, I see where this is going.
Well, they baby stepped you. That's the trick.
Yeah.
They baby stepped you.
Nowadays, you're just like, I see where this is going. I'm not saying no, but let's sit down and just discuss this for a moment before we continue.
Right. Because also, as you get older, that line in the sand either becomes concrete or is more shiftable.
Yeah, exactly. You're a little pliable.
It's like, we're
already here.
As like, it would be a shame to put my pants back on now. I mean, so
we're not touching tips, right? Okay, we should be all right then.
I mean, I have a funny story about that room, but I don't. Do I want to get this far? And
how far? We've already gone this far.
He's like, so okay. So she's giving me a blowy.
Yeah.
And
A blowy.
she's doing where I'm laying on the bed.
Yeah.
And she's
yeah.
not parallel,
Perpendicular.
You know, 90 degrees
Yes.
off axis from me.
Yes.
With her head.
You're like a weird T.
Where her head's facing away from me.
Yeah.
Where she's facing her head's facing my feet.
Yeah.
And the job to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the back of her head.
Yeah.
She's doing it, and she's like, just, you know, I guess she wasn't we're gonna lose people on this thing. She's like, just let me know you're close.
Yeah.
I guess she wasn't.
Yeah.
She'd already eaten that day, and I'm like, I gave her the old little
taparoo,
the tap on the shoulder or whatever you want to call it, and all of a sudden, it launched, cleared her head, and landed in my eye. I got a taste of my own medicine. I caught a stinger, if you will. I could not, like, I've never tried since then, but I think that was if I was a long jumper, that would have been my longest jump I ever made before or since. It cleared everything and dead shot in my eye. I don't remember which one.
Ben, I don't have a comparable story.
I took my own money shot like a champ.
Has AJ ever heard this?
I don't know. She goes, where did that go? I go, it's right here in my eye. And she goes, oh my God. And she went and goes, hey, I mean, like she was a very good person. She went and got a wet washcloth, and I sat there like a Popeye for a minute, squinting in one eye.
How did Nick Fury lose his eye? We now
Right?
finally know.
It wasn't the cat in Captain Marvel. It was Crazy Julie not taking one for the team.
She's just going around popping eyes out.
So then here's, I guess, like, it was never like, here's the thing, because it wasn't like a distance convenience.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was up here,
Yeah.
in Fort Lauderdale, and she's in Miami.
She's down in Miami.
That it's like a long drive, and it's a haul, and you know, we both have like schedules and lives and stuff. It wasn't like we saw each other regularly, and I don't think either of us were big phone talkers and whatever. But like for like a month or two, it was like, you know,
It was fun.
yeah. And then it was weird. I did that like, I'm just as a businessman, as an artist, I'm terrible. I'm a flake. I'm really good, but like as soon as you commission me to do something, it's like I'm on self-destruct mode.
Yeah.
So she had like she wanted me to paint a picture of her parents for their anniversary. It was like a big anniversary, like one of the milestone ones. And she gave me a picture, and she's like, can you make her look thinner? Can you make him look younger, kind of deal? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I was like, listen, like, I don't know what I charged at the time. Maybe it was like $500.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where as it got closer to the date, you know, I still hadn't done anything. I was blowing it off. And she was getting a little panicky. And I had also like kind of like asked for half of the money.
Oh my God.
No, it's not great. It's not like we hadn't been
Yeah.
fucking and like whatever. It's like, and it wasn't like, I was just getting close to the date. And she was getting a little panicky. It wasn't about money.
Yeah.
It wasn't about any of that stuff. But it was me. And this is what I do. And this is why, like, I know if I ever go back to doing art, I can't do commissions. I have to just be like, whatever I do, I do. And, if you like it, buy it. If you don't, I'm sorry. I can't do something on demand because that's immediately because two things happen when you're doing commissions. One, you automatically start getting people requesting the most unrewarding shit.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But it's money. And it's like, you're just, now you're a whore. Because
Yeah.
you're doing things that you don't want to do. They suck. That's how I get burned out for being an artist.
Suck the energy and life
They
out of
just suck
you.
it all out of me. All the joy goes out as soon as I start doing commissions. And when I was doing the comic book stuff, it was like, how many fucking Harley Quinns and Deadpools can I draw before I want to fucking put a pencil in my eye? I go, I can't. I have a pencil in my eye. There's no way I can draw this. So and I'll own up to it. I'm terrible at it. I still owe a couple people money for like 2 years ago. I am planning to do it like literally soon. And I have to do those outstanding pieces first before I can do anything else. But the things I've been avoiding for 2 years, I still have to do. So I was kind of doing this with her thing because it's like I'm painting someone's family. I got to DH one person.
Yeah.
I got to thinify another person. They still have to look who they are. Like,
yeah.
But so the night before she's coming to pick it up, I fucking bang it out. And it's fucking tits.
Yeah.
It came out great. Like I shocked myself. I was like, they both look dead on like the people.
Yeah.
He looks younger and she looks thinner. And when she saw it, she cried. She was like, this is, But I never saw her after that. It was like, we had kind of like over the course of like, 2 months, like seeing each other less and less and whatever. And this was like, I think it was the only thing like still keeping us in contact.
Oh, wow.
I think two things. I think like I just never got comfortable with the situation, and I never really had her clear it up to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It was always like I would ask a question, but then not want to push or whatever. But so I got roped into a swinger situation of sorts. I guess I was the boy toy in it,
just a sexy boy.
But all
boy.
in retrospect, like I wasn't going in informed, knowing, or even like at first willing to go down that journey. I was like, I thought it was something else, and then next thing I know, I'm having sex with a woman on her couch while the guy's pretending to sleep upstairs. God knows what he was doing. Was he watching a camera and giving himself a tuggaroo?
Think so.
I'm thinking about all these things as we're talking here.
Yeah, like he's just gonna go to sleep.
I mean, maybe he's like,
or maybe like he has some 19-year-old girl like in a cage or some shit up there, and he was doing his thing, she's doing her thing. Everyone's happy, man.
Chained to the radiator.
Whatever. Whatever floats your boat, man.
Right.
Whatever floats your boat.
Maybe he's just got a big plush.
A big plush Lola Bunny.
Yeah, that's her name, Lola Bunny. Where that area where you have to, after you sew it 99% up and then you turn it inside out.
Yeah.
And then there's that little area where the seam is. That's been modified.
The fur-lined glove.
Ironically, it's not where you think it would be. It's just like it's like in her rib cage.
Oh,
so
my
he's like
God.
He's like fucking a fake plushy vagina in a rib cage of a stuffed bunny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's funny because that was like I wouldn't say it's my wildest adventure, but that's the one where I didn't know what was happening. 90% of the time I had no clue what was happening.
Yeah, you're just going
until it was happening.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this is happening. And so, yeah.
And see, I'm wary about telling too much of my backstory and stuff because, well,
Well, you have a wife that probably
and a mother.
Well, two things. You have a wife that probably isn't aware of your whole backstory, and two, you have a mother-in-law that will
actively listen to this podcast. Yes.
Right.
So
she may not after today. I may have destroyed. There's like her I was worried about, and I think AJ said he had a listener who.
Yeah, but you and his podcast is way over.
I'm saying she said that we test her limits.
Yeah. I don't think that was testing any limits. We're all human. We've all fucked.
Well, but not like But
we all haven't fucked some other dude's husband in his house.
I haven't fucked any dude's husband in their house.
I mean, other dude's wife. Excuse me. Wow.
No, I have not. Listen, if incidental contact's off the table, full-on contact is off the table.
Yeah.
Intentional, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Some other dude's wife.
It's funny that in 2021 that I'm worried about saying I don't want to rub legs with another guy while I'm having sex with a woman. I'm worried about that coming off as homophobic.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. It just would kill it for me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's homophobic.
No, everyone has their thing. Everyone has their non-things. And that's one of your non-things. It's fine. It's fine. Maybe after all this time, maybe this podcast gets out and you two reconnect.
I think
highly unlikely.
I think she'll be mad. I told part of the story. She'll be like, "You got that wrong, and you forgot about this whole time when we did this, and who knows."
It's still reconnection.
It was. It's funny because it was like there's like I think about it now, and you're like definitely some sugar mama moments where it was like, not only was it like paying for things like food and stuff, but it was like at one point I had like this bracelet on, and I don't know how the conversation came up, but I was like, "Oh, this is from my last girlfriend," and she's like, "Come with me," and she goes down, and it's one of those like beach place things when there was a kiosk and there were like silver bracelets there.
Yeah.
She literally bought me a new one and then dragged me to the ocean and took the other one and threw it in the water and was like, and I'm like, okay. And then there was another time where I was this gave me an insight to her life was like, I made mention, I'm like, oh, I think I'm just, for a couple of years, I'm going to just not concentrate on anything but working. I just want to like work and get a lot of money together and get the career going, whatever. And she started bursting into tears and be like, don't be like that. So I feel like maybe her husband was like that.
Oh,
and like
which draw them to the situation.
She's got a little bit of a neglected kind of thing and unhappy marriage and all that.
Where she probably pulled the whole, listen, if we're going to continue this nonsense, this is what we're going to do. And he goes, well, okay.
Right. or who knows.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Or it could have been one of the situations where he was at work with the secretary, and you never know what goes into that. You never know.
I should have found out.
Yeah,
I just didn't. Today, I'd have like been like, listen, what's the deal with this and what's the deal with that?
Exactly. But back then, you were just kind of like,
especially since it would make for a better podcast.
You back then you're writing the hot hand, wondering like, what is happening?
It's like, that's the thing. It was like. I was
like, I don't want to say anything to ruin this, but I have questions.
No, I mean, I was like a fat kid in high school and college.
Yeah.
So like after college was more of like the girlfriend time for me. And like I had one serious girlfriend before all this kind of happened. So, where I was living with someone, I dated plenty of girls, but this one. And so it was like, I didn't know. Not that you would know about this stuff unless like you had a girlfriend that had been in a situation like this and was telling you or something. But I was clueless. I didn't know about any. I like literally like even after the fact, it was like not until like 2 years later you're like you're on the internet. You're like, oh, swingers. That's what that was.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been involved in a situation like that. And I don't think I have. I don't think I ever was. Huh. That's interesting. Well,
I feel like you wouldn't have to think too hard. You'd be like, oh, that's like a shared experience like that. Like,
I mean, listen, man.
That's shared experience.
I've had a lot of moments, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of concussions. sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah. So,
because sometimes, where like you've talked to somebody or whatnot, and you may have made a situation just sound a little bit better because it was a cool situation, but you realize telling it, you're like, oh, maybe it doesn't sound so cool, but I've made a promise of a good story, a little embellishment here and there, but then you don't think about it forever. So when you do think about it, you're only thinking about the embellishment, and you're like, wait a second, was that the real story? Fuck, I can't remember anymore.
So I thought about embellishing this one as I was telling you, but there's nothing.
There's no real need for that. Yeah. You had a good time. You had a good time. That any other era post that you would have sat down and been like, we're good, but I have some questions. We just need to clear up.
I think that, and I don't know how through Yahoo I even met this lady. I really don't. But I think through that same thing, this just came roaring back. I think one time, this is like the Wild West of the internet.
Yeah.
Like, maybe through whatever was linked to this email account, there was some picture of me up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I did once get invited also to a gangbang.
You could have been like old school.
I got invited to a gangbang that was happening. I vividly remember it because the next time I drove by it, I was like, oh, that's the place. To the Days Inn, off 95, heading south from here. Or no, was it south from here? There's a Days Inn somewhere off 95. It might be in the Hollywood area. You'll know it when you see it because you'll pass by it every day. It's either that or north of here. I forget.
Oh, you're talking about the Days off Sheridan Street.
That's the one. It's right up. I got invited to a gangbang there, and they were like, it was like a long, there was no correspondence. It was like incidental.
Yeah.
You know, like I told you before, this was not my, this was not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, it was pretty like it was like a 4 long paragraph thing about requirements and whatever, and all kind. I wish I could remember it all.
I wonder if,
but it was like the guy was recruiting for guys to come fuck his wife, all at the same time, for a couple hours at the Days Inn. And I remember because he gave the address of the place. It was like it was almost like you didn't even have to reply to the letter.
Just show up with your. Did you like show up with like your resume?
I would think at least a blood test, but I don't think.
Yeah,
I'm thinking back. I think I could have just shown up.
Here's another question. Like,
I think to the last minute, I was thinking to myself, I could still show up to this thing.
Now, like gangbangs for like nowadays, is it mass? You have to have a COVID test. I mean, there's a lot more hoops to jump for that kind of stuff nowadays. You can't just have randos show up to fuck your wife.
I think it depends on the person. I think some people are like, yes, you got to show up not only with a STD test, but a COVID test. And I think there's some people get off on the danger and they're like, we don't need either. And condoms offend us. You know? I mean, they basically have a cure for anything now. So
yeah,
there's no deadly sexual.
There's nothing a needle can't cure these days.
There's no deadly STD. So
not yet.
As you know, so maybe they.
I think though that you would want to avoid getting AIDS. Even I just think that that's a thing you don't want to like go after.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that that some people are just fucking lunatics.
That's true. That's very true.
So I didn't. Yeah, listen. The worst thing you do is you show up to gangbang, and like if you don't know the guest list, who you bump into. Is it your friend? Is it your dad? Is it it could be it could be a lot of fun. Someone at work, your boss,
high school guidance counselor,
whatever, man. So
who would you bump into at a gangbang?
So it's a little weird. So I did get invited to one of those, and I remembered the hotel, but I did not participate because I was not interested in sharing real estate with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. There's too many unknowns and stuff like that. Like, there's probably a community, they all know each other, and there's
Well, it's like, I mean, maybe it's you. I would understand more if you're like, listen, man, I'm calling you, bring 4 of your friends.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. That's at least now there's a familiarity between.
But randos off the internet.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. So.
Woof.
Yeah. So this I don't know if this is a good podcast or not, but I feel like that story is crazy enough to be entertaining.
Yeah. No. I just can't imagine that the husband wasn't involved in a more intimate level, while you were doing your thing. He was doing his.
But he sounded really tired.
Oh, I bet he was.
It was a long, exaggerated yawn and stretch. Like, as cartoony as you can picture it, that was it.
Yeah.
And it was during a good part of the movie, so I didn't believe him. So I guess that's it. I don't want to talk about any more random encounters I've had because it might paint me in a poor picture. We'll save them for later.
Well, we have plenty of time to paint ourselves in poor ways.
Yeah,
so.
We've been doing it for a year now.
Yeah,
pace ourselves.
Yeah, it's you tell all the stories up front. There's no reason to come back.
Right.
And I guess down the road we'll get Bobby Rogers and we'll embarrass myself for the better.
Yes,
part of
I definitely think that we need to talk about.
Fuck it at this point.
The year that you were groomed.
Yeah, I was definitely again. In retrospect, I was definitely groomed.
Yeah.
And I was just young, and I just didn't understand what was happening. I was like, he's a real nice guy. He buys me lunches and dinners and takes me to Dave and Buster's and all kinds of stuff.
He was doing 4 of you on that hook at one time. He even tried to take all you guys at once to L.A.
Someone paid for that trip.
Yeah, he used to Beast used to go with him places all the time.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever abused. Beast is abused enough by life.
Yeah, I think that was more of a companionship thing.
Yeah. It's like having a dog.
Yeah.
A dog with a social security number.
Because I remember, I think he went to, Bobby had a suite at the Hard Rock for like 4 days or something.
Yeah.
And Beast went for that. He didn't come back walking funny, and he didn't have anything weird dried in his beard. So, Agony, on the other hand, may have.
Well,
May have.
He knows the deal.
May have touched the ding dong. I love that we're naming names. It's gonna get me in so much trouble.
Well, A, none of these people are ever gonna listen to this, and B,
they're not state secrets.
Fucking, we don't care.
They're not states. Everyone knew that these guys were being a.
And I made a decision not too long ago. I'm done trying to the chances of me ever being in a wrestling ring in South Florida again are about the same as the chances of I don't know, you or me winning Nobel Peace Prizes.
Which to tie them together means these are wrestling people we're talking
about. Yeah, my time in the wrestling business is over, so
we'll see about that. Once we start selling, once we start making money with this, we're gonna have to throw a show because we have our promotion.
I'll throw a show any direction you want, buddy. I'll throw it into the ocean. I'll throw it in a fucking lava pit. Where do you want a show thrown?
I'd throw a show. Could mean something else. All right. Let's get out of here. This is fucking.
All right. So next episode is the Breakfast Club gangbang.
Gangbang. I don't have that.
All
story.
I can think of is old school. All I can think of.
I don't have that story. We'll have to
Yeah.
fucking ask AJ if he's got one.
Oh my god.
Which one to pick from?
Yeah, exactly. He's.
I think we just buried him. I think he's gonna catch some heat from.
Listen, when it comes to being a deviant, that man.
Gangbang is what? Just one more than a three-way?
Oh, now you're getting into semantics. I would say more than 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say more than 3.
Just checking. I just want to make sure the math on this is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want anyone telling a story one day and it not being accurate.
Yeah. So
they're talking about this gangbang they were in, and it was like
2 dudes. Yeah. It's like, no, it's not a gangbang. I said that. No, it's more than one. Like, no.
You mean just 2 dudes?
Well, that's
Like-
a whole different. Yeah.
Like an hour of getting ready for the girl to come in?
Never showed up. She never showed up.
I couldn't hold out anymore. All right.
Let's get out of here, man.